Live YouTube right there. Meeting is now streaming live.
It was setting up.
We still gonna get some theme music in here or not?
No, I'm gonna have to edit post
Okay.
for the podcast.
So is this recording as well as live, or is this like one of those you shoot live and you can go back and record?
I'm about to record it as well.
Or what I'm saying is, if you shoot it live, does face or YouTube keep it as like you can go back and watch it live when it was live?
Yeah. So we are live.
Hey.
So yeah. So what's going on, everyone? We're doing our first live this evening.
What's up, everyone?
So
it only took 34 episodes to do it.
Right. It's, always fun. But, with life of baby on the way anytime, it's kind of not good for me to travel.
Wouldn't that be crazy if she went to labor while we were recording live?
Well, that's one thing. She's like, you don't answer your phone when you do the podcast. I'm like, yeah, we're doing the podcast.
You can knock on the door.
I was like, if you really could need me, you could have called or text Christina if it was an emergency, but we're here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, but it is what it is. Another appointment, I think Thursday. So we'll go from there and see what happens.
Well, what else is going on? Week 1 of football, and I crushed it, man. I won in our league, I won in my work league, and we had like a weekly pick'em, and I won that too for $50. It was free to buy in too.
I know it's crazy that football's back, but it's usually like the first part of September. But because of Labor Day being so late this year, it just feels different that week 1 and we're the 15th of September.
Yeah, man.
But I did the same thing. I won both my leagues, so comfortably.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I have to play your dad next week, which he had a great first week too. So
hey,
we're the only ones who play each other who's won their first week.
Oh, really?
The only one of us will be undefeated. All the other 4 of y'all, or other 3 of y'all, have a chance to go 2-0.
Yeah. What was crazy is in my other league, I had Cortland Sutton or whatever.
Yeah, I have him in actually both, I think, too.
And I didn't even substitute him. I had that big of a lead. In our league, if you have like over 90 points, that's pretty decent. I had 115 going into the last game, and even though he was out, all he had was Derrick Henry, which is scary. But I was like, I have enough of a cushion that I'm not worried about it, and it panned out.
Right. I think going into last night, Justin had defense and I had my tight end, but after the first game, his defense didn't give enough points to win, so I was comfortable. And then, of course, the tight end had like 22 points with the touchdown. So I was comfortable.
Well, I'm lucky because next week, the guy I play, he has 3 players hurt already. He's got Le'Veon, James Conner, and Michael Thomas.
Bro.
I know.
Well, Jenna has 2 of those players.
Oh, that's tough.
She has Bell and Michael Thomas.
That's too bad.
Yes. That hurts. Like, to have your first round pick to go down, and then probably your 3rd, 4th for Bell, but still, and Connor, that's just terrible.
I know, man. All right, well, let's talk about some baseball.
Yeah, let's go into some baseball news.
So for y'all who don't know, we're Alan and Alan. This is AA Sports Podcast. The first piece of news we have to talk about is about the Giants and COVID test.
Yeah, like we said last week, there was no positive tests. Well, that all ended on Friday when it came out that the Giants had a positive test. Well, come to find out on Sunday morning, it was announced that it actually was a false positive, which postponed 2 games for both Friday night game and Saturday night game. So they made a doubleheader on Sunday, at least to start the makeup.
Exactly. And I know Alex Dickerson was stressed out because he has a pregnant wife at home. But at least it was a negative positive test, right? So it's
but Dickerson's name did get out, so people were bashing him, and then that something leaked out that he broke protocol. That's how maybe he got it. So it was really stressful on him that everything, especially like you said, his wife was pregnant at home. She's literally due the same time with my wife. She's 39 weeks.
Yeah, man.
So but with the talk of pandemic, the virus, it was serious, and his name being brought up, it was very stressful for him the last couple of days.
I bet. I can't imagine, especially like I said, your wife's about to get pregnant. This is not the time for any kind of COVID news.
No, definitely not. Like, you're going to the hospital, and then the season's coming to an end. It's just,
Yep.
man, it's a scary situation. So I'm glad it was a false positive. So like I said, they made up one game. They do play one more time this season, so they'll
Okay.
get to be able to make up the other game. They haven't officially announced it, what day that doubleheader will be,
Okay.
but they are going to make it up somehow. So that's good. But of course, I think they lost both those games because now Padres on a streak beating those. So we'll see about that. Next thing is something we talked about at the beginning of the season. It wasn't just like we talked about last week with another Angels player. It was not if this can happen, is the win. And Albert Pujols finally got the monkey off his back and tied Willie Mays for 5th on the career home run list.
Yeah, man. So Pujols comes in, he hits his 660th career home run off of Carlos Estevez, Rockies reliever. So now everybody knows who it is. But the question is, this is fine and all, but will he catch A-Rod, who's at 696 home runs? Because for right now, the season, Pujols is hitting 237. He's got 4 home runs, 22 RBIs. It's not the best season for him.
No.
What I'm wondering is if he continues like this. I mean, yes, these are okay numbers, but is he going to earn a spot on a team next year?
Well,
Is he
he's
gonna
under
keep playing?
contract for one more year.
Well, what I'm saying is he going to get enough playing time? Is he going to have enough juice left in the tank to at least catch A-Rod? And he would prefer to go past A-Rod, I'm sure. But that's another 30-something home runs.
Yeah, you're talking 36 home runs as he sits right now, since he's still only tied with Willie Mays. He still needs to get that one to get over the hump.
And I'm sure he will. Look, even if he gets 5, 6, 8 home runs, 10 home runs at the end of the year, which is a stretch at this point, he's going to have to. He's not going to get 30-something home runs next year. He'll probably, if he's to get a full year and he plays a lot, maybe 15, 20 if he's lucky. But I'm thinking less than that.
Yeah, and then the monkey off his back, because this is his first home run since August 4th.
Exactly. And that's the biggest stretch I think he's had without a home run since 2014 or something like that.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. But the good thing was, since there's no fans in the stadium, that he got to get the ball.
Well, that's cool.
So he got the ball. I saw somewhere he actually gave the bat to his third base coach because he's a big Willie Mays fan. So
wow.
Here's the bat that I tied Willie Mays.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Then he said he really got eager to do it because he actually got a text from Willie Mays himself saying time is now for you. So
yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah,
Willie Mays knew it was going to happen, and we knew it was going to happen too. We figured this was the mark he was going to hit this season. But I was all on the A-Rod or Pujols train. I was like, the machine's going to get there, but now I'm just wondering if he's slowing down, if he's going to even make it to catch A-Rod. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely older. He has 1 year left in the deal. He said he wants to keep playing, but is there going to be a spot for him somewhere?
Exactly. That's my worry, because we've got all these young players in this season, and they're all showing us what they got. Everybody's looking pretty good. It's kind of at the point where Pujols can be replaced.
Yeah. So he doesn't strike out often, so that's the key. So if he can get to a spot where he can get some playing time, he might have some luck. But
all right,
we'll have to keep an eye on that.
All right. Well, the next piece of news we have is, remember a while ago we talked about one of the employees for the Angels was fired because he was providing illegal substances to visiting pitchers to doctor the balls. Well, it seems like that guy, who's also known as Brian Harkins, aka Bubba, he is filing a lawsuit against the Angels.
Yeah, the complaint was filed on August 28th in Orange County Supreme Court. First reported to ESPN, claimed that he was the scapegoat by the Angels for the MLB.
Yep.
Said of the allegation of defamation and false light against the Angels and MLB because the public allegation that he provided legal substance that he did not to the Angels. Complained also the labor violations for his dismissal. Of course, Angels declined to comment. MLB declined to comment as well when ESPN reached out. But the case is not scheduled to May 31st, 2022.
Yeah,
so
man.
Most likely it could be settled or dismissed way before then.
Right. I mean, Brian Harkins, he was fired on March 3rd And apparently he was distributing illegal substance to anyone, but he doesn't know anything about this. According to him, he said he doesn't know what go-go juice is. That's what they were calling it. He said that he wasn't making any money off of it. He was taught by an all-star pitcher from the 90s to combine rosin with pine tar and motor stick to make sticky stuff. So that's what his complaints are in his filing.
Yeah. And apparently many people in the organization knew about the sticky stuff of rosin, pine tar that he made for the pitchers year after year. Hair cream sized jars contained sticky stuff, was included in the Angels bullpen bag, along with sunscreen and other sticky substance. Many Angel pitchers used to cover it for years. Many Angel coaches have encouraged to use by pitchers over the years. So
it sounds like he's got a good case, if you ask me.
Yeah. So it sounds like there definitely could be a settlement involved in this if this has come true, that everyone
and like you said, man, they're putting him out to be the scapegoat, like it's solely him being whatever, but he's been doing this for decades. I don't see why it's coming to light now and why it's such a big issue.
Yeah, so and this of course is after MLB sent out the memo cracking down the use of substance in baseball, but Harkin apparently said he never received a copy of the memo, according to the complaint sent to the.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I can't wait to hear about this. But that's in a couple years. Or next year. Yeah, 2 years. We'll forget all about this.
We will. Yeah. Like it'll probably be a quiet settlement. They'll pay a couple $1 million for him to do some hush money,
and we won't even remember this. Seriously, I can't. It won't even be brought up again, probably.
Yeah. So, next thing is a series that everyone had circled on their calendar, especially after excitement earlier this season, is finally when the Astros had to travel to LA to face the Dodgers. And man, did the fans have fun with this one.
Yeah, man, the fans were out there greeting the Astros with trash cans and they're banging them and they're just surrounding the streets, basically. It's about what you would expect. I think the only disappointment I had was Joe Kelly, is he injured still or something?
So he's finally off the injured list.
Okay.
But after since his appeal happened, he was on the injured list. So now he's serving his suspension.
Okay. That's what it is.
Yeah. At first I thought maybe they're told me he cannot play against the Astros because they're afraid for something to happen, but no, because he's finally doing his suspension for the 5 games starting Thursday night. So
right. Well, so speaking of Joe Kelly, they got the mural for him, but does the MLB hate him?
So Joe Kelly made an argument, he captured it on the video with the fans, going off the Astros, honking his horn. He became this light, but the mural's up. He was honored with a pouty face, took pictures of it, Kobe with a Kobe Bryant jersey, him and his family. But came an article that he thinks MLB hates him.
Yeah.
So
I would agree.
Partially, yeah.
And the reason I say possibly they might hate him is because they suspended him and they fined him when he didn't even hit a player. And he wasn't even thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
He got more time suspended than anybody on the Astros did for cheating their way to win a World Series.
Yeah. So if you threw at someone, it got a little in, whoop-de-doo, he had to back up. Okay, to 2 players. And then, he said something, it's baseball. People chirp all the time. And so someone got a little offended and he did the pouty face. He doesn't care. He walked off the field. He went to the dugout. Astros came after him. So how does that deserve the 5-game suspension?
I completely agree. Joe Kelly is absolutely right.
Yeah. That's like multiple people came out and support him. And the biggest one, of course, has been Trevor Bauer with the cleats that we talked about a while ago.
Yeah. The free Joe Kelly cleats.
Yep. And then since he couldn't wear them, he's given them away from the proceeds from the shirt that he made for Joe Kelly. So one random person who buys that shirt is going to get those cleats.
But what I'm saying is why even tell him he can't wear these cleats is because the MLB hates Joe Kelly.
Yeah, it's got to be because bad publicity. I don't know.
They don't like individuals, man. I feel like they don't want him to be an individual. They want him to fall in line. That's crazy.
And the biggest thing, if you think about it, Joe Kelly got suspended more games than any Astro did player-wise.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that's what I'm saying. How is this fair?
It's not.
And the funny thing is, when this all happened, Kelly does not have social media right now.
Uh-huh.
So he didn't see none of the stuff going on after the game and stuff. His wife and others, teammates said, dude, you're going viral right now. He said, I don't even have a burner account, nothing to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
He's like, so people's like, this isn't crazy. Like, he was unreal. So yeah. So he's been out that sore shoulder. He came back. Now he's serving his suspension. So his 5 games. So that was Thursday, Friday, then so he should be back, I think, as of tonight, I think, or tomorrow night against the Padres they're facing right now. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, but also Joe said I think one payment from the charity shirt with Trevor Bauer already been sent to his one of his charities. So the shirts are on the way. I guess if you still want a shirt, they're up on Trevor Bauer's page if you want. It's
Very
go.
cool.
It's awesome. So
Okay. That's
so
cool.
big injury that
Oh
happened
yeah.
this past week. The star of the Oakland Athletics, Matt Chapman, is out for the season. So the
Yeah.
accomplishment goal of bringing that World Series back to Oakland this season is going to be without the superstar.
Yeah, man. He had season-ending hip surgery. This year he was batting 232. He had 10 home runs. I believe he had 25 RBIs. It's not something you want to hear about. I mean, because you can't easily replace this guy near the end of the season, especially like you said, if the A's are trying to make a run.
Yeah.
They did sign Jake Lamb in an effort to replace him, but Jake Lamb was recently assigned to by the Diamondbacks. Recently assigned for designated for assignment. And the A signed him, but I mean, he wasn't doing good at all this year, if you ask me, Jay Lamb. So I don't understand how this is going to help them against Chapman. Maybe they got him because he's already playing and he's already in shape to play, but his numbers aren't going to be comparable.
It's got to be a good possibility. You know, of course, the manager said he's disappointed. He's disappointed himself. All he wants for him is get healthy. It's hip surgery.
Yeah,
and it's not no like broken arm or shoulder. It's hip. That's pretty big at third base.
absolutely.
So he had a surgery Monday. Apparently, to what our knowledge, it went well. But as the injury got announced, the A's had the best record in the American League, and they still have the division lead. I think that's almost sewn up against the Astros. Like, so issue is not getting to the playoffs, is going through the playoffs without your star.
Exactly. It's getting through this next man up mentality, and you got to go with it. We'll see what happens, man. I think it's a big blow to them this year.
It is a very big blow. So, let's hope for the best for him. See him next year, but we'll see if Oakland can step up and make that run. It's unfortunate because the hot hand, you thought like this could be Oakland's year to make that deep run, and now without their star, it's like you're questioning it now. Can someone step up? Maybe. It's gonna suck if they do make a run. He's not there, but
yeah,
we'll keep an eye on this.
Yeah, at least I know he helped get him there if they end up doing it. So the next piece of news is actually pretty exciting. Alec Mills, he's a Cubs pitcher. He threw a no-hitter this week against the Brewers.
And this would have been the second no-hitter if it wasn't for that late ninth inning against the Twins earlier this year with Maeda. But
I was gonna say what, Darvish.
But second no-hitter this year. First one was, of course, with Giolito, the White Sox. So 2 hitters this year, both sides of Chicago got their no-hitters this year, but he struck out 5 while walking 3. So
yeah, that's crazy. And it's crazy because, like you said, he threw a no-no, only striking out 5. Yes. That means his defense absolutely backed him up.
Very much so.
Great effort. And what's funny about this guy, Alec Mills, he wasn't even guaranteed to stay in a Cubs lineup a couple of weeks ago.
Nope.
And then all of a sudden he no-hits the Brewers. He said that I'm just proud to be that person that can tell you to never give up. Mills said, never stop playing, never let people tell you what you can or can't do, and just keep persevering. So, he's got a great mentality. He's done pretty good. What do you think?
I love it. Like I said, the 5 swing and misses only matched Dallas Braden's 5 and the perfect game that he threw back in 2010. So it's the fewest in a solo no-hitter in the past 30 years.
Okay.
It's crazy. Mills said he heard shortstop Jive Baez screamed even before he threw the ball to first that he knew he had it. But Baez said after the game, I just wanted the ball to hit to me. And he said, of course, after the game, this is something will be part of for life, like a championship kind of thing. No one will take this away from you. I'm happy to be part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. The best pitch was working from that day was his curveball. He often sets up hitters with the first pitch curveball for a strike. Brewers actually made some decent contact, but finished 0 for 11 on hard hit balls. that ties for the most hard hit balls in a game without a hit for those batted balls since Statcast has been introduced in 2015.
Okay.
But also, this is a fun fact, is David Ross becomes the 11th person to catch and manage a no-hitter.
Oh, wow.
Because he, of course, caught the no-hitter with the Cubs with Jake Arrieta back in 2016. He said it was different from, you think when I was catching, you just go for the ride. He's like watching it, the signs of trouble, keep track of the pitch counts. It was interesting.
Hey man, John Ross is doing great things over there, and his team is pretty exciting to watch. We thought the Cubs, we didn't know if they had it in them, and we thought if they did, this might be the only last.
The biggest question this team was pitching.
Right.
That was the biggest question mark for this team, is like, who's going to be that pitcher? And Darvish has stepped up for him.
Absolutely.
This year, because we know Darvish has not had that record last couple of years. Lesnar's older. It's like, who's going to be that guy this year? And Darvish has been it.
And now he's getting other guys around him who are doing pretty well, though no hitters and stuff. So who knows, man?
Yeah. So Mills no was the franchise 16th no hitter, of course, first since Arrieta's. So not bad. So, but this is also the first time that Chicago has 2 no hitters from the 2 teams. So fun facts.
Okay.
But speaking of no hitters, we also had a rookie toss a no hitter this past week, but lost it in the 8th inning. Kansas City Royals rookie right-handed former first-round pick Brady Singer couldn't get through 6 innings before the start, but he had a great game and barely missed it.
Look, he pitched a tough one, and it's just crazy because he had to go up against a tough team, the Indians.
Yes, Indians.
And it's like you can't pick the team you throw the no-hitter against. And it was crazy that everything was firing for him against the Indians until the 8th inning. So he failed to complete the no-no, but he did strike out 8 in 8 innings. And he's just 24 years old, man. I feel like he's got a lot of upside.
Very upside. A lot of people have been waiting for this guy to come up. And it's funny because they felt like not many people was watching the game because it was Thursday night.
Right.
In Kansas City, it was opening night with Kansas City Chiefs opening up the NFL season.
Oh, yeah.
So they're defending champs, open season up. So you're pitching in that game. And I think it's like some weight was lifted, like no one's like paying attention to you, and you pitch one hell of a game.
Yeah, well, that's also got to suck at the same time. Like I'm pitching this gym, and ain't nobody showing me love,
Yeah, so can't really, he had a solid game. We'll see if he can bounce back and keep it up for the rest of the season, and hopefully next year he does well with it.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, another piece of news that we heard this week was that the MLB is about to close a deal with the MILB, the minor leagues. So what could this do for baseball?
So the deadline for the new agreement ends at the end of this month in September.
Okay.
The death knell for minor league baseball, 119-year run of independence, could be the death bell could be ringing very loudly.
Man.
Regardless of what sides agree upon, MLB might not agree upon a deal, let it expire, then they can create their own league.
Which I think they want to. MLB's goal is to have 120 full season teams to eliminate the short season rookie ball teams outside of the Gulf Coast. So like I said, they want to eliminate teams outside the Gulf Coast, Arizona, and the Dominican summer leagues. So this would essentially eliminate 42 teams. And because MLB, they want to change the way the minors are being run. They want to run the day-to-day operations.
Yes.
So I feel like they're going to have a deal with the minor league owners on kind of like a franchisor franchisee system, kind of like hotel and restaurant chains operate.
Yeah. So ultimately, if the deal doesn't get done by the end of this month, they could go individually to the owners with the teams they want to use.
Right.
Reportedly that all MLB teams had to send a list of where they want their teams to be. So like for the Mets, they probably pick Port St. Lucie because they just upgraded the stadium. A's, they just purchased Syracuse, so that's probably be the AAA, and that's the rumor is AA might lose it to maybe go where the the high A, the Brooklyn might go become the AA. We don't know. For example.
So my question is, do you think if this does happen and the MLB eliminates 42 minor league teams, do you think those teams are just going to up and fold, or is this going to create a way for the independent ball to get bigger? Are they going to fall to an independent ball? Because why would they just want to close up just because MLB says no?
Yeah, I think it's going to be all around. It's going to be a very hard sell because You think, especially teams, if they get cut out and they have agreements that public funding was for the stadium and the contract's not up yet, baseball is going to have to pay out because that contract be voided. Independent ball will definitely rise, I feel like. That's why a lot of senators didn't like this rumbling that was happening. And we knew something definitely wasn't coming soon when the MILB president, Pat O'Connor, resigned and retired suddenly this past week, because a lot of people say some owners felt like O'Connor was unable to create leverage for the talks, meaning pretty much it's MLB's like, this is our way. So it's going to be different. I don't like what was minor leagues going to do. Like,
I don't know, man. I honestly feel like independent ball is going to pick up, and they're going to add more teams, and it's going to be a bigger, bigger league in general. It's going to create more attention, I think.
We'll see. And then the interesting thing is the owners that, they get to keep their team and stuff. But then if Major League Baseball decide that these are the recommendations that you have to have for these leagues, and you got to fork out this money, they're not going to be happy.
Or they might not want to do it at all. So yeah, I agree, man. This might not end as good as they hope it does.
Because then you're going to have to ask the cities where you're at for money, and then if that's, especially right now with COVID, money's going to be tight. So right. I really think if something needs to be upgraded stuff, whatever team you're associated with needs to help pay for it. Will they do it? I don't know.
They're going to have to. I mean, they're going to have to do something because they got to take care of the guys they draft. They got to carry, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, but MLB teams are going to have to put some money into this.
Yeah. So apparently there was a 41-page PowerPoint presentation titled MILB's Business Plan.
Okay.
That pretty much shows the focus of the game, crop of players, learn on current leadership, MLB dealing with multiple cares in front of them, like sponsorship, broadcasting, marketing, that they feel like minor league baseball is slacking on, including merchandise, fantasy games, sports betting.
Oh, I agree, man. There is absolutely untapped potential here. You could absolutely start. The first thing they need to do, minor leagues, they need to get on TV. That's the first thing. Like, I know they have the little app and stuff, but they need to get with it. If the minor leagues can get on a TV schedule and they can get betting involved and everything else that the major league has, this will help small markets get out there and start enjoying more, especially marketing.
Yeah. And then one idea that apparently is being floated around is MLB is thinking about doing an MLB Cup tournament mid-season, where event model after European soccer competitions that MLB teams would compete with each other as well as minor league teams to crown an annual champion. There's a possibility where MLB teams will also play in MILB facilities for some of these contests.
Okay. Hey, I like that.
So the expiration date is September 30th. So there's some wait. You're talking just over 2 weeks away.
Okay.
But we said the third option where the clock runs out and then MLB negotiates with the actual minor league owners on an individual basis.
All right, man. Hey, I'm with it. I can't wait to see what happens. Whether it be positive or negative, we'll soon find out.
Yes, very much so.
All right. Yeah. So let's move on.
This is the big one.
Yeah. So apparently the MLB finally proposed the playoff bubble locations. And I think we actually have some solidification on this.
It has been agreed upon officially today. So Major League Baseball, we've been hearing rumblings about this for a while where people are hearing hotels are being booked up, locations roughly, but now we have a clear-cut plan what's going to happen. So the biggest thing we haven't really heard is about families and the teams, but everything's going to be neutral sided pretty much after the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
So pretty much the biggest thing was they did not want anyone playing in their own park.
Okay.
So National League is going to be playing in Texas at both American League facilities, and then the American League's playing in Southern California with both National League stadiums. So that way no one plays their own part. There's no advantage. I don't get it if there's advantage if there was, I guess fans, but there's no fans.
Right. So essentially, like you said, the NLDS and the ALDS are both being played at two separate parks in two states, right? So we have
Yeah.
like two in Texas and 2 in California.
Yeah. So pretty much the wild cards round, we can call it. Whoever's the higher seed will be the host city for all 3 games.
Okay.
So in the NLDS, 2 of the series will go to Arlington, Texas. Of course, that is the brand new stadium for the Rangers. And then the other 2 series for the National League will go to Houston with the Astros Stadium.
Okay.
So after the wild card round, the American League, one will go to Petco Park in San Diego. The other one will go to Dodger Stadium in LA. And then the ALCS will be at Petco Park in San Diego. And the NLCS will be at Arlington, Texas, where the World Series will be at Arlington, Texas for the World Series.
Yeah, and we can obviously agree that the Texans are the Rangers aren't going to make it, so
No.
they're not going to be getting any home field advantages.
Now, yet again, yeah. So unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, but when this first started coming out a couple of days ago, I was confused on the timeline. Like, how are we having this World Series going to start October 20th?
Was it October 20th or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So literally 2 days after the season ends, the first games are going to start, if I remember correctly. And I think it's American League. So yeah. So Sunday games in. Tuesday, all 4 wildcard games will play on Tuesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, all 4 wildcard games. Well, all 8 wildcard games will happen. AL and National League. AL, the next 4, if there's a game 3, because remember the first round is 3 games. NL will play all 4 games. And then Friday, if there is a need for any game 3s for the NL, they'll play Friday. Then they have the weekend off to travel to the bubble locations. And then Monday, the AL starts. And then Tuesday, the NL starts. But this is where it breaks down why they're doing so fast.
Okay.
There's no off day in all the opening rounds.
Oh, wow.
There's no off day till the World Series.
Man, they're just trying to get it done as quickly as possible before anything happens.
I was like, because that's what I was like, okay, there's at least off days for the World Series. Yes, there's 2. And pretty much would have been the travel days.
Right.
Because, the first 2 games would have been at home field advantage location for the World Series, off day for travel, then 3 games at the other team, and then travel back to the home city. So they still get 2, but this is going to be the big factor when you go to the 5-game series, the 7-game series. You're going to have to use 5-man rotations.
Oh.
Compared to previous years where you can do 3 with the off days.
Because of the rest days. Oh,
Yep.
Man. That's a good point. Ooh. Oh,
So
wow.
if you don't have that pitching depth, you're going to be dangerous. Now, the first opening round, the wild card round, as we can call it, there's only 3 games. So your 3 best pitchers can pitch in the game, no questions asked. But once you get to the next round where it's 5-game series, pretty much you're throwing all pitcher out one time.
That's a true
maybe
test
game 5, your ace again.
Right. So, like you said, it's a true test to your team. If you truly have the best team, you're going to have to go through your whole lineup. It's not like you can just keep going with the Kershaw or something or Scherzer every other day or something. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Very crazy. So
that's going to make a difference. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Strategy is going to be key in this one. The manager's going to have their hands full trying to figure this one out, especially bullpen. If you're pitching back to back to back to back, whew.
Yeah. You better hope your starters go to save that bullpen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's man, it changes the game with there's no day off. Like
it really
now
does.
You got to think about that because before it's like okay, bubble, whatever.
You don't even have time to process what you did wrong because the next day you got to play again.
Yeah,
like you don't have no off day to say, all right, let's regroup, let's think about what just happened. It's like, nah, we just played last night. You got to play again.
Yeah, there's nothing like. And the thing is, like, so you think about opening day of the playoffs, that first wild card day, you're talking about 4 different games in one day. So I'm pretty sure they're going to start real early and go on.
This going to be a good day for baseball.
Especially that second day, that Wednesday when all 8 games will be playing in the opening round. But as we keep saying, the playoffs are going to be scary because if you lose that first game, you have to win the next 2 to advance. Mm-hmm. So pretty much if your ace messes up, man, you got to win 2 to keep, and then you don't get luckily you get a weekend off. So your ace can technically get ready and be ready for game 1 So, like I said, ladies is National League will play game 3 as a Friday. You
Right.
don't play again until Monday, Tuesday. So, but the whole thing with the bubble is what we're hearing now is all teams who I guess have a shot at the playoffs going into I guess that final week or whatever are gonna be quarantined into a hotel that final week and the playoff week at their home stadium.
It makes sense. I mean, I get it. Not
So
taking any chances. As many teams have caught COVID or as many scares
yeah,
this year, they got to just keep it simple. Like we got to keep this cooped up.
yeah, like you said, that was the biggest thing, with these multiple positive tests in MLB this season being traced to family members, league option simple. Either families go through a quarantine period to go to the bubble and live with the players, or they can come to the host cities but remain socially distant for the players during the postseason. We don't know that fact yet. And then it came out today that our good old commissioner thinks there's a possibility where fans can go to the World Series.
I bet he does hope that because that sounds like big money.
Well, if you think about how much really at Texas, you got to think how many people they're actually allow in this brand new Texas stadium, which they probably would love to do because no one has technically seen the stadium with their own eyes besides players.
Crazy.
Because they spent all this money, they especially all around it, they got all this entertainment area. This is supposed to be like the setup for baseball, and then
that's like
it makes sense because they have a retractable roof. There's no indication there could be a rain out
right
for the World Series. So the last day of the World Series could be actually the earliest Game 7 in a couple of years is October 28th.
Well, hey man, the way that the 2020 is going, they could have a freaking hurricane over there during the World Series. Who knows?
Right, they're about to get another one in the Louisiana area, probably.
That's thinking, man. You never know.
But so we'll see what they do with the family and stuff. But but another big thing with this playoffs we could talk about real quick, which I cannot believe. I get it for the first couple rounds, but I'd be damned if I win the World Series and I cannot celebrate with alcohol.
Yeah, dude.
The forbidding of players drinking alcohol during clubhouse celebrations. I get it because the bubble locations, you probably got to use the dugouts.
Well, they don't want to spread coronavirus.
So yeah, that's wearing the master and celebrations on the field. Like, come on. I understand the first couple rounds.
What are they gonna do if you celebrate with alcohol? And why would they care? Because at that point, well, I guess if they care about the playoff rounds, but if you do it for the World Series, there's no games after that.
Now, if you win the pennant, celebrate. But there's really no days off if you're the National League, I think, to the because the World Series is gonna be at Texas. That's where your championship series is. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to the thing yet. Okay, so if the NLCS goes to Game 7, it's 2 days before the World Series starts.
Okay.
So you technically have 2 days to clean the clubhouse if they celebrate with alcohol. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if they're worried about cleaning the clubhouse. I think they're more worried about alcohol spilling on the people and then hitting other people. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're thinking about.
I don't know. At first I thought it was because of the bubble areas. That's fine, but I'll be damned if I win the World Series for the first time and I can't spray champagne everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna happen. They can say what they want, but you're not gonna stop the players if they
now.
win.
If it's all the other rounds previous to the World Series, okay, whatever. But it's the World Series. We don't play again until March for spring training. Yeah, I'm celebrating. I don't see them have an effect on that. So we'll see what they do with this bubble. If they make them quarantine, if fans get let in to the World Series for the first time this year, it's gonna be an interesting thing to watch. But for the rest of the playoff teams, thinking about going 7 straight days in this NLCS or the ALCS, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, dude, really is.
Speaking of National League, we're gonna talk about this even more. We talked about it a little bit last week, but this National League Cy Young race is like the hot thing to talk about these days.
Absolutely,
especially after we talked about Trevor Bauer and Yu Darvish went head to head, and Bauer came out on top. Going 7 2/3 innings, no runs allowed, and Darvish gave up a 3-run home run in the first inning and didn't let up from there. That's all he gave up was 2 walks, and then Moustakas hit a home run. That's pretty much it. But with that, Bauer, which I said a couple weeks ago, I think Bauer's going to be in it. You said, I don't think so. But now Bauer's kind of got the second spot now.
Yeah. Bauer's he's doing great. He's kind of in it, but I still feel like at the end of the day, it's going to be Darvish or DeGrom. I mean, Bauer, yeah, if he stays in there, I'll be surprised. I wouldn't be that surprised because he is doing good. But ultimately, either way, a three-way race going into the end of the season is crazy because it's so tight. Like there's no clear-cut winner. It's not like Shane Bieber. It's it's crazy.
Yeah. And not even 2 years ago, Trevor Bauer was a front runner for the American League Cy Young until he had a small stress fracture in his fibula in August, which sidelined him. So he finished sixth that year in the Cy Young voting.
So what's Trevor Bauer's stats looking like right now?
So as of right now, Bauer is. Oh, actually, I think I wrote this, but forgot about his game last night.
Yes, yeah.
I forgot about his game last night.
All right. Well, while you look that up, I'll talk about DeGrom and Darvish. So for DeGrom, as far as I know, DeGrom is 4-1 with a 1.67 ERA and 79 strikeouts. Darvish, he's 7-2. I think he's pitching tonight.
Yes,
but he's 7-2 with a 1.77 ERA and 72 Ks. So that's really tight, very tight right now.
Well, it's probably a little worse now. Darvish has given up 2 runs.
Okay. So what's Bauer looking like then?
So Bauer for the season, he is 4-3 with a 1.71 ERA, 58 innings pitched, 83 strikeouts, and a 0.81 WHIP.
So you're right, man. You're right. He is absolutely in the race. So I take back what I said last week. Trevor Bauer is in it. He's got to be.
Yeah, because so the 3 main contenders, like we said, DeGrom, Darvish, and Bauer. Milwaukee, Corbin Burns is probably the one tier above the group. Max Fried was, of course, was in the mix till he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, Bauer's best career finish is 6th in the Cy Young.
He'll finish a lot better than that this year. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Darvish best finish is, of course, being the runner-up back in 2013 to Max Scherzer when Max Scherzer was in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, DeGrom, the 2-time defending Cy Young champ.
Look, man, it's going to be exciting. I don't know if all these pitchers can keep this up, but it seems like Darvish is starting to retract a little bit in his last half of the last half of the season. But DeGrom is only getting stronger.
Yeah, and being DeGrom, I feel like the more years go by, he's getting older, but he's getting better every single year.
Well, he came into the league basically older, rookie, older this and that. But I don't know, man. DeGrom is very hungry for this. This is something he wants to accomplish.
Yeah, when he first said that won the first Cy Young, he's like, no, it's not a goal of mine, but
now that he's got 2 in his mouth, he's just like, he wants it.
Yeah, with Tom Seaver had 3 to be in the talk, but no one has done 3 straight since what was it? Who was it? Your guy,
Randy Johnson.
I think so. I think he was the last one that had 3 in a row.
Well, yeah. If you're in company with Randy Johnson, or you're being compared to anything with Randy Johnson, absolutely.
All right. So Darvish right now is 3 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. He has raised his ERA to 1.98 as of right now.
So then as of right now, it is DeGrom and Trevor Bauer.
Yes.
Has to be.
Yeah. So with DeGrom going tomorrow night, so it's gonna be a real tight race,
Well, as long as the Mets can put up another 14 spot, like they have been for DeGrom, and he pitches like he can, this should be an easy out. Who we playing tomorrow?
So DeGrom's final 3 starts is going to be against the Phillies tomorrow, Rays, and the Nationals.
Oh man, so he's got tough outings. It's not going to be easy. So if he wins, or he's going to earn it if he gets it this year, because these last 3 games are going to be.
So of course Darvish is playing the Indians right now.
Tough.
He'll get to play the Pirates and then White Sox.
Oh, so he's going to have one easy game possibly in the Pirates, but the White Sox are going to be pretty hard too.
Now Bauer, it depends because he was a doubleheader and they have a couple other doubleheaders coming up. So his guaranteed 2 starts, if they just do regular rest, don't throw him out there, depending on what they do, is the White Sox and Twins. But he also could face the Brewers.
Okay. Well, we all know what happened to the Brewers recently.
Yeah. And so no matter what, you can kind of look at all 3 guys with Darvish pitching right now. 2 of their final 3 starts that they have are all with playoff teams.
Yeah, man.
With Phillies and Rays, with DeGrom, and then Bauer with Twins, White Sox, And then Darvish, of course, is facing the Indians right now, and then White Sox at the end of the season.
Yep.
It's no easy cast to go through here.
Hey, so it's gonna be exciting. I'm pretty sure we haven't really talked about the AL, but I'm pretty sure it's Shane Bieber and Shane
Bieber, because the closest person was Dallas Keuchel, but he got on the 10-day IR,
so
he's pretty much out. So I think Beaver, unless he gets lit up the last 3 weeks, it's his to lose.
Right. So we'll be keeping an eye, especially since we're Mets fans, we're definitely keeping an eye on the National League Cy Young, because this is something we can actually root for right now.
Yeah, because with DeGrom, it's just been that guy, Rookie of the Year, 2-time Cy Young, all-star starter. Like,
yeah, he's got to make sure he gets solidify his way to the Hall, and if he gets his three-peat,
I think you pretty much punch your ticket.
You have to. There's no way around it.
And some people are like, oh, it was a shortened season, but
I don't care.
What he gave up.
Everybody else is in a shortened season too, and DeGrom is only getting better with age.
He has the fastest fastball this year.
He added miles per hour to his average fastball for sure. He's he's hitting triple digits.
It's crazy that like his average, I think it was a slider, is faster than the MLB average fastball.
Exactly. Hey man, they were talking about somebody earlier throwing like a 90+ sinker, 96 mile an hour sinker or something today. Crazy.
So that's why a lot of people do not wish the Mets get into the playoffs.
Because
if you got to face DeGrom game 1 and you lose that game, you have to win the next 2.
Yeah, but lucky for them, our next 2 starters are not that great. So it's just like, who are we gonna put out there? You get Lugo, maybe, and then a Porcello who's got a 6+ ERA. Ugh.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So speaking of the next time, let's go to talk about these current standings.
Yeah, man. So
let's go start with American League.
Yeah, so American League, if we start with the East, the top of the East are the Rays.
Yeah.
They're 30-17. Me and Alan both agree, if you got 30 wins, you're a lock to get into the playoffs, right?
Yep. So they pretty much just get 1 to guarantee their winning season, which we're pretty sure they get 1 the rest of the way.
Exactly. And then behind them are the Blue Jays, which, surprisingly, they're doing pretty well this season. They're at 26-20. Then we got the Yankees at 26-21. They've been doing better, and I think they just got Giancarlo Stanton back.
Yeah, they're getting Stanton and Judge back this week, and I'm pretty sure after tonight that will actually flip-flop, because right now the Yankees are leading 16-3 over Toronto.
Oof.
So
they'll be tied, but they'll have a slight advantage.
They'll have a slight advantage over Toronto,
right? Because right now they both have the same amount of wins, but Yankees have 1 more loss.
Yeah.
So then it'll be the Orioles at 21-26, and then the Red Sox at 17-31. Red Sox are out, no doubt about it. Orioles had their shot, they blew it. We knew.
Yeah, with the 5-game sweep by the Yankees this weekend, pretty much knocked them out.
Yeah, we didn't know if they could keep it up. But hey, they had a better season than we anticipated they would.
They had a shot till roughly 2 weeks before the season ended. Like, you can't complain. Like, there for a while, we thought right for the trade deadline they were sinking. They started trading players, and then they got a little hot real quick, and then now they just fell off the cliff yet again.
Yeah, man.
So, but there's promise there. There's a bunch of young guys. Managers heading in the right direction there in Baltimore. They have drafted a lot of pitchers the last couple of years, so we'll see if these pitchers and guys come up the next year or two. Don't be surprised if Baltimore is that like Toronto team that can make some noise in here in a year or two. So next in the Central, this is like the division race for the American League, with the White Sox, Twins, Cleveland, all were real close a couple weeks ago. Well, White Sox have separated themselves with having the best record in the American League right now.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you win 9 out of the last 10 games.
5-game winning streak, 31-16. Like, we knew this could be a dangerous team going into the season.
And this is one of the teams that before the season started, before we had coronavirus, you and I were both saying that we like this young team and they could do some damage. And well, guess what? They are absolutely doing it.
Yeah, we had them. I think we thought they could possibly win the division wild card for sure for a longer season. Now, shorter season, we're like, can they get it together being so young?
True.
Well, first part, they did not get it together. But man, since then, they have went onto a streak. The young guys are stepping up. The veterans are stepping up. Pitching has gotten way better.
Overall, great.
So they only have a 2-game lead over the Minnesota Twins at 30-19, which we knew Twins were going to be a good team as well. The players they added. Cleveland was the question mark this year. They're 26-21. Detroit, they were in it for a little bit, but they fell off. They're at 20-26, and then Kansas City at 20-28.
Well, even though the Tigers are falling off. They're doing a lot better than we thought they were going to be.
Oh yeah, we thought there'd be the bottom of the barrel with Baltimore and Kansas City this
And
year.
the Pirates.
And the Pirates in the National League. That's a different
Yeah, I
story
know.
there.
All right. Well, then we got the West, AL West. We got the A's who are 30-18, but they just lost Matt Chapman. Then we have the Astros at 23-24. So this division isn't as good as they might hope to be.
Yeah, Oakland has the biggest lead between first and second. So
Right.
I honestly think they almost got the division sewn up here within a week. They'll probably clinch it unless they go on a terrible lose streak.
Well, which they could. And then we have the Mariners who are 22-26. They're not out of it yet because, the last 10, they're 6-4, whereas the Astros are 2-8. So the Astros are up and down. They're like a roller coaster this year, man.
Yeah.
And then we have the Angels who are 20-28. They're trying to make a run of it. I think they're 7-3 in their last 10. But I don't know if it's a little too late. And then we got the Rangers at 17-30.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, if you go through it. So with the AL postseason seeding, like we just said, the White Sox have the best record, so they right now have the number 1 seed. Rays are at number 2, slightly over the Oakland A's at 30-17 to 30-18. So those are your 3 division leaders. So they got top 3 seeds. Then you have the Twins, since they are 30-19, they'll have the number 4 seed. So those 4 would be the host cities for the first round of the wild card round.
And that'd be crazy because we never would have thought the White Sox would have been leading the whole AL.
No.
I mean, we thought it could have been good, but that's great.
So technically, if you go by that, the Twins would host the Blue Jays in a 3-game series.
Ooh.
Oakland would face their division rivals, Astros, in a 3-game series. Rays would face their division rival in the Yankees for a 3-game series. And then White Sox would host the Indians in a 3-game series.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All division rivals.
Oof.
Besides the 4-5 matchup.
Hey, I like to see that. That'd be crazy.
And then really the only team who's kind of not out of it is, I think, Seattle.
Okay.
Because they're only, they're only technically 1.5 back of Houston right now.
And I think, like I said, they're on like a 6-4 in their last 10, to whereas the Astros have only won 2 of the last 10, right?
So technically, Seattle is about 8 games out of the wild card, but they're only 1.5 out of the second slot for the
division. Which is what they'll be shooting for.
Now, yes, with roughly, what is that, 11, 12 games left? So that's
so
what
it's
you're
like
shooting
second
for.
place or bust. So their only team they're worried about beating is they get the Astros. They got to worry about getting ahead of them.
Yeah, very much so.
All right. Well, let's move on to the National League.
So with the National League in the NL East, we have the Atlanta Braves still at 28-20, holding that division lead. They have a 2.5 game lead over yet this pesky little Miami team that has not want to give up.
I know, man. The Marlins.
After taking some games from the Phillies, knocked Phillies from that second place spot down to the third place at 500 at 23-23. Mets are at 21-26. And the Nationals at 17-28.
So that comes back to our question of last episode. Do the Mets have what it takes to get in? They can technically still do it, but it's going to be tough, man.
So pretty much, there is 13 games left for the Mets. They need to go 9-4 to get to 500, which if you get 500, we all believe that you can get it.
Absolutely.
They have a tough schedule the rest of the way.
Yeah, they do.
Besides the Nationals. End of the season.
But the teams ahead of the Mets right now, like you said, are the Marlins, the Phillies, and they're only got 24 and 23 wins. So if they start tanking and the Mets can win some, they can take that second spot in the division. But like you said, man, it's going to be really tight regardless of how you look at it.
Yeah.
There's a lot has to happen.
A lot. So then we have the Chicago Cubs leading the NL Central at 28-20. Second place team is that St. Louis Cardinals at 21-21, but yet they have a lot of games they're about to go through this next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with Miami. They have a lot of games to make up as well.
That's what I'm saying. This could hurt them because it's a lot
very
quick.
Much so. And then Cincinnati Reds are starting to make a little noise. They're only 1.5 game back from the technically by percentage to the Cardinals, so they're trying to get that playoff spot.
And in their last 10, they've been 6-4, so they're on a good
3-game winning streak. Exactly. Trevor Bauer being that ace for them, he's putting up those numbers. So Milwaukee's still not technically close out. They still have a small shot. They're at 21-25, and then we don't need to talk about the Pirates.
But
Sorry.
the Brewers might not be out of it, but if they want to get in it, they have to start producing better than they are, because
Yes.
their last 10 games, they're 4-6. So that's not a good way to continue. If you want to win, you got to start winning some series.
Yes, very much so. So the next is the NL West, which this is the tightest race, which we didn't think this was going to be earlier this season. Like, we thought it was Dodgers, division, whoever can come in second
Absolutely.
can get a playoff spot. But man, these last couple weeks,
Slam Diego came through, man. That's what happened.
That is an understatement. So, with the Cubs leading right now is only a game and a half up on the Padres, since right now Padres and Dodgers are playing. They played last night, they played tonight.
Okay.
Very heated series.
Well, the one thing, like you said, so the Dodgers are 33-15. The Padres are right behind them at 32-17. But the big thing that sticks out to me is the last 10 games, the Padres are 9-1.
Yes.
They're killing it.
Very much so. And, so if you think about it, they play tonight. It's who's the pitching? Oh, it's going on right now, actually. Okay. Dodgers are already up 1-0. So, and then I think this is actually the last game they're playing, because they don't play tomorrow. They play a day game tomorrow. So they have tonight and tomorrow, and then they're done for the season. Then it comes down who you got the rest of the way. So really, if San Diego sweeps them, they have the division lead after the next 2 days.
Hey man, that'd be crazy. But you know what? That could also be an advantage to the Dodgers, because who are they going to get lined up with?
Well, that's the thing.
If they were to lose the first place lead over here,
if they would lose the lead, let's go.
Like if San Diego took over, yeah.
So currently, right now, if they swap positions, for example, so Padres become the number 1 seed, and Dodgers would become the number 4 seed.
Okay.
So the Padres would face, as of right now, the Giants.
Okay.
As it sits right now. The Dodgers would face Miami, as it sits right now.
Oh, we'll see. Like I said, that would be an advantage for the Dodgers, I think.
So if you think about but as of right now, Dodgers hold the lead. They're the number 1 seed currently. Cubs are number 2 seed. Braves are number 3 seed. Padres are the number 4 seeds. Miami's number 5. Cardinals is 6. Philly is 7, and Giants are 8. And technically, Giants are the 8 seed, and they are not at 500 or better.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're like what, 23-24 or something.
So, like we talked in the American League, how like in the wild card race, Seattle's technically like 8 games out of the wild card. The Reds are like 2 out. Brewers are 3 out. Rockies are 3 out. Mets are like 3.5 out.
Okay.
So it's real close. But we said Reds are not far behind Cardinals, where Reds can sneak in and Cardinals will be out. It's gonna be that. But my thing is, if somehow, let's say, like we were just talking about, if Mets sneak into the 8 seed, does Dodgers want to face DeGrom game 1, or do they want San Diego to face DeGrom game 1?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I don't think anybody wants to face DeGrom.
No one does. So that's what I said. Like everyone's been watching that. Like I said, that could be an upset. Let's say Mets get in at the 8 seed and knock out the number 1 seed the first round. That'd be terrible.
You saw what happened last time we faced the Dodgers in the playoffs, right? Didn't we sweep them?
Nah, we won in 5.
Yeah, well, either way,
we would have been up 2-0 before the Chase Utley slide situation.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to face DeGrom though.
So let's say, for example, let's go with this. So let's say they pretty much everything doesn't change, but let's say Cardinals do lose it, Reds get in. So if everything stays the Reds would play the Braves.
Oh wow.
So Cubs would play, as I sit right now, Philly.
Okay.
And the Dodgers would place the Giants. But like I said,
I think the Dodgers are comfortable facing anybody right now,
except for maybe
the Padres, which they're playing right now.
Yeah.
Or obviously there's teams they'd rather not go up against. Like, I think they'll have a tough time against like the Braves. The Braves are good. But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be regardless, but it's gonna be real close. Like, I think what if I remember correctly, a couple of days ago, Dodgers only needed 2 or 3 more wins to clinch a playoff spot, to secure at least a playoff spot. They said. So I'm like, well, it's about that time to start clinching.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we're a couple weeks in left, so yeah,
Yeah,
it's that time.
like you said, like we're
But
13 games as they're going on right now. Most teams, except for like
but at
saying,
the same time, I can make the argument that right now the season is a lot closer to see. Well, like we're not guaranteed to see who's in the playoffs. Versus like a regular season, we would know who's way out. Right now, almost anybody can still get in. Almost.
yeah. So it's gonna be a world class. Wait, American League. It's really gonna come down to who's gonna win the division and who's gonna be the second seed and third seed, one like the AL East, and then the AL West is gonna be does Astros lose that guaranteed spot and be on the outside looking in to the Seattle. That's really the other tight races, and everything else is just seeding with AL. So NL has more of the races going on. AL is just who's going to face
Who's
who
going to
kind of
finish
thing.
where?
Yeah,
Exactly. Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to some
time for our players of the week.
Oh, players of the week. We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. All right. Well, my players of the week are basically in line with MLB. The National League Player of the Week has to be, hands down, without a doubt, Alec Mills of the Cubs. He pitched 2 games, went 2-0, and one of those games he threw a no-hitter. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, I kind of figured you would have him. I actually went with a guy we talked about a little bit earlier, Trevor Bauer. And his 2 starts, he's 1-0, 14 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 22 strikeouts.
But did he throw no?
No.
I'm just saying, man.
But, yeah,
good stats all around.
It is, 2 tough pitchers. And then my position player of the week, it was kind of hard. I was tossing around. But Will Myers for San Diego. Last 7 games, he has 10 hits, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, and batting 400.
Yeah, hey, that's pretty impressive.
That's another person that's stepping up for San Diego. It's not just Machado and Tatis is now like you got Will Myers getting involved.
Okay. So. All right. Who do you got for your AL?
AL for the pitcher, I have Garrett Cole. He went 1-0, 7 inning, technically a complete game against the Orioles.
Wow.
Only gave up 2 hits and 9 strikeouts.
Hey, man, that's a name that we were expecting to hear more of this year. But we haven't.
No, we really haven't. He gave up too many home runs this year. Not really being the guy that he's been, but he finally put together against Baltimore and pretty much knocked them out of the playoff race.
Well, that wasn't too hard to do, I don't think. My AL player of the week is, like I said, I went in line with the MLB this week. Jeimer Candelario. He's 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, batting .423, and the most impressive thing is that he's doing this in a Tigers uniform.
Yeah. My AL position player of the week is Roy Jimenez of the White Sox. In the last 7 games, he got 12 hits, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, batting .429.
Yeah, man, pretty good.
I feel like every week a White Sox player is within should be a top player because look what they're doing. Like you said, 9-1.
Yeah, the whole team's doing it. It's crazy. And it makes me think because we watch more Mets games. So if I had to pick like a player of the week that's crushing it right now, I think like Dom Smith, man. Every time I see him, he's getting hits in big situations.
Before I picked Will Myers, I was almost set on Conforto.
Conforto, man, he has to absolutely have the play of the week.
Yeah, he did. He did. He ended up getting the play of the week this week for that catch. But that's a guy who we even talk about like Tatis and Abreu and stuff about MVP. Conforto is going to get some MVP votes this year.
He has to. I mean, he's definitely becoming one of the best players in the Mets organization. Yeah. And that's tough because they have a lot of good young guys like McNeil, Dom Smith, Pete Alonso, and DeGrom. I mean, everybody, the Mets have the names. You just got to get it together for some reason to get it through. But Conforto's definitely killing it. And Dom Smith, like I said, Dom Smith's been all over everything this week.
Yeah, definitely much so. So while we talk about some Mets, let's go and talk some Mets news this week.
Yeah, the first thing we have to absolutely address is that the Mets have a new owner.
So it is done. Steve Cohen has reached agreement to purchase the New York Mets from Fred Wilpon and family, pending approval from the Major League Baseball team announced Monday.
Yeah, man. So he's going to purchase a team for 2.4 billion, which is going to set a record for the most expensive North American sports team purchase.
Yeah.
2.4 billion.
So
You know,
it's ridiculous. Like you said, like the previous was it 2 or 3 years ago with the Carolina Panthers being purchased at like 2.2 billion. NFL is like the money league, so that makes sense. But we're talking baseball.
right. And I know we were talking the other day about the Rams and Chargers stadium, SoFi.
Yeah.
That thing is $5 billion. You could buy 2 teams with that thing, man.
So, and then the other crazy thing that was kind of shocking that he will own 95% of the franchise. The
Yeah.
rumor was before this deal was done that they're roughly going to be a total of 80% sold because the Wilpons will still want a small percentage of the team. Well, I guess they decided to give it up. Someone only owns 5%, whoever it is.
Yeah. What are they going to do at 5% though is what I want to know. When
Well,
everybody else owns 90 something percent.
well, yeah, of course, before this deal, Cohen technically only owned 8% of the team. So he bought, was it 87% of the team with this deal?
Well, what are they going to do with SNY? Have they announced that?
No, there's no word about that yet.
So as far as I know, doesn't Cohen he still needs approvals?
Yeah, so the vote is in November at
Okay.
the leagues to be approved, but I think with the deal done and the announcement and stuff, I'm pretty sure they'll probably talk to owners and they'll probably get the 23 votes that are needed.
Right. 23 out of 30. Like you said, I feel like it's a done deal, and this is going to be good for the sport in general. So I don't see any reason why they would not vote him in.
Yeah, like we said, Mets sold for more than the 2.35 that was being reported at first. Roughly what people are hearing is 2.4 to 2.45, which is, of course, like you said, the record. Panthers were 2.27 to another hedge fund billionaire, David Terp. So,
yeah, man.
Cohen, who Forbes estimate has a $14.6 billion net worth, was the front runner after A-Rod and Lopez fell out.
Yeah, man, dude. I'm excited. As a Mets fan personally, cannot wait.
So he'll take over the Mets as one of the richest owners in all of sports, not just baseball, all of sports.
Wow.
The closest person Forbes has wise is the Nationals owners at 4.5 billion. And
wow. That's a big difference.
Big difference.
So with that being said, I guess it's safe to assume that the Mets should be competitive in the near future.
I almost certain because New York has just won 2 World Series titles, and when Tom Seaver passed away, Cohen remembers going to the Shea, watching Seaver pitch, grew up a Met fan, so this is going to be something that's going to be real close to his heart once he gets the agreement done. So I'm pretty sure, like you said, he'll have the 23 of the 30 owners votes when it get placed in November, and then once that deal's done, he'll either replace Brody or tell Brody to go get these guys. And I think the first one is backing up the money truck to JT Realmuto if Phillies don't get the deal done and say, what do you want? And I'll start throwing money at you.
We'll see, man. You say that. I don't know. What's he doing this year?
He was doing well.
I'm just saying because Ramos is picking it up. I don't know.
Well, it's Ramos' last deal. Defensively, he's been pretty bad. And you're thinking JT, so let's see if I can pull up JT real quick. But if like I saw the 7 Line posted a picture of this statue that roughly apparently Cohen spent $150 million for. I'm like,
absolutely, yeah, man. I mean, I guess when you buy something like that for $150 million, do you got money to blow? So you're right, man. With that mentality, absolutely. If he's going to spend $150 million on some dumb statue, he'll easily buy JT Realmuto if it makes sense.
JT Realmuto has 40 hits, 11 home runs, 30 RBIs. He's batting 267.
All right, yeah, sign him up. That's pretty solid.
And I think he's he's 29.
Okay. Well, we can get him on a 4-year deal.
But apparently Phillies want to re-sign him, but apparently they are not close to a deal.
Well,
so if it's money, I think we have an owner that would pay it if it's going to help us win.
Is it money or is he tired of hearing Bryce Harper cry? I don't know.
So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely interesting once the deal gets done, ratified, and changes made to the organization.
Okay.
I think the Mets found their manager. Maybe it could be the front office needs to be some reworking, which he'll bring his own people in.
Well, well, speaking of new owners, so when he comes in, he's going to have to address the issues that we're having as a team right now. So what's wrong with the Mets right now?
So this was an awesome article The Athletic put out yesterday.
Okay.
The article is called "The Most Unluckiest Team in Baseball."
Has to be.
So he said, "Meet the Mets."
Okay.
By one measurement, the Mets should be the Braves. Their postseason spot all stirred up thanks to offensive points shortcoming. They lead baseball with a baseball average of 278 and on base percentage of 357, while ranking fourth in slugging at 463.
Nuts.
By OBS plus, they're 23% better than the league average, which ranks second in the sport. By the same measurement, they have 8 players who are better than league average. Dom Smith, Conforto have all broken out. McNeil has got his stride in September, and Cano has bounced back from his awful year last year. Malcolm Conforto right now is the 5th in the National League in average at 343. Dom Smith is tied with 6th with a 333 average, and then Jeff McNeil is batting 319 is 9th in the National League.
But we expect Jeff McNeil always above 300. Jeff
Yeah.
McNeil is like super solidly consistent. I like him, man.
We thought, McNeil could be that possible 400 guy this year with the short season. There's no spec. Only one other team has 2 players in the top 10 in averages, which is Washington Nationals with Soto and Turner.
Yes,
San Diego has 4 in the top 20. Rockies have 3 in the top 20, and Dodgers only have 2 in the top 20. Oh, and the bullpen has settled in, and DeGrom might win his 3rd Cy Young. Sounds good, right? But by Fangraphs, base running is where the luck unravels. So by Fangraphs base runnings of all the stats where it should be, Mets should be 27 and 20.
Right. Should be. And that would be great. And if we were there right now, we'd be super excited.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Real life, however, they're making the postseason just 26.8% at 21 and 26. Mets enter Monday just 2 games back of the playoff spot. It's 3 now because they had an off day. Everyone pretty much played. But the 6-game difference between the actual win total versus their base runs is their largest in baseball.
Jesus.
It's insane. Between the 2-1 trail in the 9th inning Saturday night against the Blue Jays, Ahmed stood on first base as the tying run. He was picked off at the end of the game. A day later, Todd Frazier becomes the latest to make it out on the bases. According to Fangraphs, poor base running has cost the Mets 8.3 runs this season that could miss out in the playoffs by 1 game.
So the moral of the story, though, is if the Mets do make the playoffs somehow and they keep it up and they just fix the issue, we could be killing it, because if the offense is alone on paper, we look great.
Yeah.
It's just that we can't run bases. I also feel like our biggest issue is pitching.
Yeah. So whether the bullpen is started slowly, but has settled down recently, but it's the fluctuation of who's going to pitch after DeGrom and now Lugo.
Yep.
It's that 3, 4, 5 guy. Now with this, like I said, the playoffs being 7 straight days, if you make to the National League Championship Series, you have to have a 5-man rotation.
Agreed. Yeah. So you're right. And that's going to kill us. And it's not just the starting pitching. I feel like the bullpen's trash too sometimes. But if we can get it together, like you said, man, those stats speak for themselves. Like, we should be somewhere else, completely different than where we're at.
Yes.
And so. just another update. Yu Darvish gave up another run.
Oh, yeah, he did. 3-1. Yep. I think unfortunately Darvish is going to be out this race after this game now.
Which sucks, man, because he was having a killer year. He still does. Still has a great year, but he was definitely in the talks.
Let's see what that deal to him now. He is currently now at a 1.94.
Right. So a little bit.
Yeah.
He just got out of that, so.
Yeah, but man, like the Mets, I feel like it's every year. It's like injuries, something happened.
Every year. But every year, I think since Carlos, who is it, Beltran, just watched that last strike, every year since then, I felt like our pitching has always been an issue.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. And now that we had too many options this year, we went from having too many options to who the hell's going to pitch.
Yeah. Like, like beginning of the season, like we said, like, who's going to be the 5th and who's going to be the bullpen. And then Syndergaard went down, like, okay, next man up. Everyone's doing well. It's whatever. Then, of course, pandemic happened. But
Exactly.
then since then, like, okay, we still have belief. A lot of people said Mets could be that scary team, which our batting, we are scary. It's just now our pitching, since Stroman decided to opt out. Porcello hasn't lived up to what we thought maybe he could do.
Yeah.
Waka the same. And then Matz has been terrible. He actually might get a chance to start again here soon. And then Lugo has been the bright spot since coming from the bullpen to starter. But other than that, like I said, if it's not DeGrom, you're kind of worried.
You're up in the air. If it's not DeGrom, it's like, well, who's it going to be? Regardless of who's it going to be, the Mets just needed somebody who can get in there and just keep us competitive. Don't give up everything. We just need to be able to, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. The offense can only do so much.
Yeah, but like we just talked, but there are the Mets, and long term, Steve Cohen might have to be buying a pretty good baseball team.
Yeah,
and
man.
Short term, should identify the chances to storm into the postseason. Mets could be arguably the most dangerous team among the fringe contenders. It's hard to imagine them even beating the mighty Dodgers. Would be eager to deal with DeGrom in a 3-game series, but first, Mets need to make the uphill battle and win. It's not the fun to know if even though we do win, we might not gain a game, Frazier said. That's the toughest part, knowing that we've got to win and other parts of the puzzle needs to fall in our places.
Yeah. It's just but like you said, man, if somehow we can get a hold on our base running, which apparently is an issue, which I know it is. I've seen many of our players get picked off, but if you can get it all clicking in the playoffs, we have a real shot, because those stats that we're in the top 5, top 10 for, nobody wants to face that. No pitcher wants to go up against those numbers.
No, definitely. I think the other scariest hitting team has got to be San Diego.
Exactly.
But so you don't want to face neither of these, and
that's what I'm saying. And if the Mets escaped in as a wild card, that's got to be a terrible nightmare for somebody facing them.
And just like we said at the beginning of this year, Mets could have been the Nationals last year if we would got in. We had one of the best teams second half of baseball, so that's why there was a lot of hope this year, and unfortunately pitching. So Cohen has a solid team. Definitely need to go after some pitching and catching. It's gonna be interesting.
Man. All right, man.
Anything else we got this week?
I think we wrapped it.
I think that's pretty much it. Like we said, it's a little less than 2 weeks now. Sunday would be 1 week until the season is over. So next week when we do the podcast, man, we should know more quality, who's going to win, who's what. Like I said, when we looked up last week, I forgot all about the Miami having so many games to play. St. Louis has so many games to play. Like, I think after the series with the Phillies play the Mets, they have, I think, if I remember correctly, Miami for like 7 straight games.
Yeah.
That could be a definitely playoff decider right there. 7 games.
Absolutely.
I'll pull up the schedule right now. So yeah, they're playing Mets right now. That they have 2 games. They play the Blue Jays. Oh no, I think they did have all those games with the Marlins.
Okay.
So that's what they kind of separated them. But they play Blue Jays 4 more times, Nationals 4 times, and then Rays 3 times is what Philly plays.
Okay.
So let's go to Miami. I know they have a lot of games against, I think, Nationals. So they're in Boston right now. They have to play 5 games against the Nationals this weekend. Doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Sunday, and a regular game Saturday. Then they play 4 games against the Braves, and then the last 3 games is at Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
So that's tough. And then I think the worst schedule we can all agree upon, I think, is St. Louis Cardinals, since they missed way more time than anyone. Let's pull that up. Okay. They had a doubleheader last night against the Brewers. They split. They're playing the Brewers right now, which are getting slaughtered 15-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. They have a doubleheader tomorrow. Then they play Pirates for 5 games. Then they play Kansas City 3, and then they play Brewers for 5 more games. So at the end of the season, they're playing the Brewers 10 times within a week and a half.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is crazy. So, man, it's going to be tight races throughout the rest of the season. We'll definitely break it down next week and see what happens from there. So we'll keep a close eye on the Cy Young race, which look like could become a two-headed race. We'll definitely see how DeGrom pitches tomorrow night. If he does well, which we all believe he will, it'll be, Bauer versus DeGrom.
All right. Well, yeah, that'd be crazy. I got to root for, it's crazy to think even Bauer's even in it, though, man. So I'm surprised and glad he's doing great this year. Like I said, Darvish is taking himself deeper out of it, but we just got to hope DeGrom keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah, like you said, the wins aren't there, but if Bauer's your other competition, he's 4-3.
Okay.
DeGrom only has one loss.
Exactly.
So that's a wash if those are your two candidates. So it's going to be the ERA, the strikeouts.
We don't care about losses though anymore, wins and losses anymore, because DeGrom's won the Cy Young 2 years in a row with 10 wins,
11 wins.
Right. Exactly.
So we'll see what happens. We'll keep a close eye on everything, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
All right, peace, y'all.